You think you found these words by chance. You think your eyes drifted here because of a title, a suggestion, a fleeting curiosity. You imagine it was the algorithm, the endless tide of information, or simply boredom guiding your hand. But beneath that surface logic lies something deeper, something far older than technology, something more deliberate than choice. Every step that brought you here has been carved in a field beyond sight, woven by a version of you that already knew this moment would arrive. Nothing here is random. Nothing here is casual. This instant has been orchestrated as carefully as the planets circling the sun. What if every turn in your path, every pause, every overlooked detail was not the product of accident but of orchestration? What if this moment is the echo of something your future self already remembers, calling backward through time to draw you into recognition? You imagine yourself scrolling, watching, searching. Yet what truly unfolded was alignment. A chain of synchronicities, subtle and silent, converging here. The you that is reading these words is not the only you. There exists another, already formed, already awake, already beyond the doubts that haunt you now. And that self has guided you here. The instant you become aware of quantum reality, it becomes aware of you. The very act of reading, of perceiving, of sensing shifts the field around you. The connection locks into place. There is no return to the narrow corridors of classical perception once the horizon is widened. You are not simply consuming information. You are the transformation itself, unfolding in real time. So let us step beyond the borders most never cross, beyond the skin of ordinary science into the marrow where science touches eternal. Here, the laws you thought unshakable bend like reeds in the wind. Time ceases to be a straight arrow. Cause and effect dissolve into one another. Reality itself reveals its shimmering fabric, a fabric alive with intelligence that has been whispering to you in coincidences, in accidents that were never accidents at all. Think of your life not as a sequence of unrelated events, but as a symphony, each note played at the perfect moment, each silence as vital as sound. In that symphony, your future self is a composer, the one who already holds the score in hand, who knows every crescendo and pause, who knows exactly how the melody of your existence must unfold. That self has been reaching back, leaving breadcrumbs scattered through your days, orchestrating conditions that would lead you here. You call them coincidences. You call them luck. You call them chance encounters. Strange timing, uncanny relevance. But they are not chance. They are signatures from the future, ripples from what already exists, guiding the present into alignment. Quantum mechanics does not stop at equations on a chalkboard. It breathes into consciousness itself. It tells us that particles do not merely exist in one place until observed. They hover in superposition, in possibility, until awareness draws them into form. Consciousness is not a passive witness, but an active participant, shaping what is seen, shaping what is lived. And this participation does not confine itself to the now. It stretches through all time, touching past and future alike. Your future self exists right now. The version of you who has already chosen what you are contemplating, who has already become what you long to become, is not a dream deferred. It is alive in the field, broadcasting itself backward through the corridors of time. And you, here, reading, listening, sensing, are the receiver of that broadcast. When you remember a future, rather than try to create one, you step into quantum truth. When you let yourself feel that tug from beyond, when you notice the pattern in the so-called randomness, you begin to see that the universe is speaking your own voice back to you. Every intuitive hunch, every sudden knowing, every inexplicable pull toward a choice is the whisper of your future self. Pause for a moment and recall the last days of your life, the stray words overheard that seem to answer an unspoken question. The sudden meeting that seemed strangely aligned with your hidden thoughts. The article, the song, the fleeting encounter that felt drenched in meaning. These were not trivialities. They were the echoes of your crystallized future reaching back to assure you that the path is already set in motion. Most cling to the illusion that the future is something that comes later, something that happens to them, something fragile and dependent on luck. They live in what physicists call classical reality, the dream that time moves forward in a line, that cause birth effect, that self and world are separate. But this is a grand lie whispered into the ears of humanity, that you are separate from the reality you inhabit. In truth, the observer and the observed are one dance, inseparable, endlessly shaping one another. You are not watching reality unfold. You are writing it with every flicker of consciousness. And this writing is not linear. It sprawls across all time. Every choice, every thought, every pulse of emotion radiates backward and forward, echoing across dimensions you cannot see yet. Your future self has already painted a canvas. You, in this moment, are simply awakening to the colors already there. Think of time not as a line, but as an ocean. Every moment exists simultaneously. Past, present, and future are not rungs on a ladder, but waves lapping against one another. Your consciousness swims among them, touching what seems like tomorrow, influencing what seems like yesterday. Every breath ripples in both directions. And in this ocean, your future self shines like a lighthouse, sending beams of guidance through fog and distance, shaping the waters you float in now. You call it instinct. You call it a hunch. But what if instinct is simply memory of the future? What if intuition is not a guess but a recognition? Your mind, bound by habit, doubts. But your deeper self knows. Right now, as these words fold into you, you can feel the recognition. Not just thought, but resonance. A vibration that stirs deeper than reason, deeper than logic. It feels like remembering, because it is remembering. The future is not waiting. It is here, whispering back, weaving this exact moment into its tapestry. This is why you are here. This is why these words found you. Because your future self required this moment as a node in its unfolding, a point of activation, a hinge in the doorway between what has been and what must be. And so, without knowing, you have arrived at the threshold of quantum signatures. Each thought you think, each choice you make, each feeling that flickers through you emits a unique vibrational imprint, a quantum signature. These signatures ripple through the field, creating interference patterns across time itself. They overlap, they harmonize, they collide, weaving a symphony of possibility. Your future self has already generated such signatures, born of its state of being, its achievements, its awakenings. These signatures travel backward, imprinting themselves upon you now. They surface as sparks of inspiration, as doors swinging open, as chance words at perfect times. They are the breadcrumbs. They are the resonance. And yet they are more. They are proof that you are not powerless. Proof that the boundaries you once believed in, of cause and effect, of time's tyranny, of chance, are dissolving. They reveal that reality is not something you endure. Reality is something you broadcast. Now pause. Feel your own resonance. Feel the way your body reacts before your mind interprets. The way a room can drain you or lift you. The way a person's presence can settle into harmony or dissonance in your chest. This is not imagination. It is your quantum signature interfacing with the field. It is the proof of your participation in creation. Every thought is a signal. Every feeling, a transmission. Every choice, an act of broadcasting. And the future you, luminous, expanded, alive with possibility, is broadcasting too, guiding you into itself. You are not waiting for transformation. You are the transformation already happening. These signals move through you on levels your conscious mind rarely names. On the mental layer, they arrive as sudden sparks, ideas that leap into your awareness with no clear origin, flashes of understanding that seem to descend from nowhere. Those moments when you grasp something you never studied, when knowledge blooms whole within you as though planted long ago. These are not accidents. They are transmissions, whispers from your future self delivered into the soil of your thoughts. On the emotional layer, they are subtler still, a sense of knowing you cannot explain. The way a decision feels right before you can justify it. The magnetic pull toward a path that your logic resists, but your heart insists upon. These emotions are not random surges of chemistry. They are resonance. They are the emotional language of the future speaking through you. On the physical layer, they manifest as instinctive resonance in the body. The tightening in your chest when something is wrong. The surge of energy when alignment is near. The inexplicable sense of safety or unease when you enter a space or meet a stranger. Your body, ancient and precise, reads these signals before the mind has words. The skin prickles, the breath shifts, the heart quickens. The body is a compass tuned to the field, translating quantum signatures into sensation. And on the energetic layer, invisible yet undeniable, they become anchors. Reality itself bends around these anchor points, like metal drawn to a magnet. They are stable nodes in the quantum field, pulling events and circumstances into your orbit. You may think of them as coincidences, but they are gravitational. They are the shaping force behind why some people glide effortlessly into the lives they desire, while others struggle endlessly at the edges of their own dreams. This is not luck. It is not merit. It is alignment. Alignment with the quantum signatures of your future self. Alignment with the version of you who has already crossed the threshold you hesitate before now. When you learn to sense the difference between thoughts born from conditioned past, perceptions alive in the present, and insights sent from the future, you become literate in the language of quantum reality. Past conditioning thoughts drag you into loops, recycling what has already been. They are heavy, repetitive, familiar. Present moment awareness feels crisp, immediate, alive with clarity, a lens unstained by expectation. Future transmissions feel different still, impossible yet true, frightening yet magnetic, irrational yet perfect. They stretch you beyond who you thought you were, because they are invitations from who you already are becoming. Most wander lost in the noise of these streams, unable to tell them apart. They mistake the heaviness of the past for wisdom. They confuse the compulsions of the ego for guidance. They drown in chatter, deaf to the signal. But when you cultivate the art of distinction, when you learn to feel the weight of past, the freshness of present, the vastness of future, you step into literacy. You learn to choose which current to swim with, which voice to follow. And here lies the first great shift. For as long as you believe you must create the future, you wrestle against time. Creation feels like struggle because you imagine what you desire is absent, and in that absence you strain. You force, you push, you chase. But every act of forcing proclaims the same truth. That what you seek is not yet yours. That what you dream is elsewhere. That you are lacking. Yet when you understand that the future already exists, alive, breathing, broadcasting, you stop creating and begin remembering. You stop chasing and begin aligning. The struggle dissolves. Manifestation is no longer an act of war, but of recognition. You are not carving something from nothing. You are allowing yourself to become what you already are. This is effortless manifestation, not because effort vanishes, but because effort flows rather than resists. When you swim with the current of the quantum field instead of against it, even action feels like grace. What you do is not random. It is guided by resonance, by synchronicity, by alignment with the signals streaming backward from the self who already stands in completion. Think of those who seem blessed with uncanny timing, those who arrive always at the right place, who catch opportunities others miss, who turn decisions into cascades of fortune. They are not lucky. They are listening. They are tuned to their own future echoes. Their awareness is not consumed by fear of misstep, but sharpened to notice subtle doors as they swing open. They recognize the signature of alignment and they walk through. Yet, this is not a one-way transmission. You are not merely the receiver of guidance. You are a partner in dialogue across time. Each choice you make in the present strengthens or weakens the bridge between you and your future self. When you act in trust, you empower the future to send more refined guidance. When you ignore or resist, the signal fades. The loop can be strong or faint, coherent or fragmented. But when coherence stabilizes, the loop becomes seamless. Guidance flows effortlessly. Decisions feel inevitable. Synchronicities cluster like stars until your life feels less like chance and more like a constellation revealing its pattern. This is a quantum feedback loop. The dance between what you are and what you are becoming. Future self broadcasts. Present self responds. Future self evolves higher. Broadcasts again. Present self responds more deeply. On and on, until the line between present and future dissolves into one vast continuum of being. You cease to feel like someone receiving guidance from elsewhere, and instead recognize that you are guidance itself. Different facets of one consciousness, conversing across the ocean of time. When this dialogue stabilizes, life itself feels enchanted. The ordinary drips with symbolism. The mundane is charged with meaning. You no longer wonder if the universe is listening. You know you are the universe listening to itself. But to sustain this requires a radical reimagining of your relationship with the unknown. You must relinquish the compulsion to predict, to control, to force clarity before it's time. You must surrender the lie that certainty is safety. Most recoil at uncertainty, mistaking it for danger. They cling to rigid plans, rehearsed expectations, brittle illusions of control. But the quantum field births all possibility from a fertile void of uncertainty. It is the womb of creation, not its enemy. To live in quantum awareness is to stand barefoot in the dark soil of the unknown and feel the seeds germinate beneath your feet. It is to trust that the guidance will arrive when needed, not before. It is to walk into mystery not with dread but with devotion, not with fear but with reverence. This does not mean passivity. This is not surrender as defeat. This is surrender as participation. You act, but you act with ears tuned to the field, with eyes trained to notice the shimmer of alignment, with a heart willing to leap where logic hesitates. This is the invitation unfolding now, to step into the unknown not as chaos, but as symphony, to trust the unseen orchestra, to allow your role to be played with grace, guided by the conductor who is none other than your future self. When you begin to trust the current of the unknown, when you lean into it instead of bracing against it, something remarkable stirs. Life begins to reveal itself as infinitely responsive, alive, and aware. Reality itself meets you halfway, reshaping around your openness. What once felt heavy with resistance starts to flow. The world you thought was indifferent begins to feel intimate, woven with a strange intelligence that is always listening, always guiding, always whispering. This intelligence is not outside you. It is not some distant power that intervenes when called. It is woven into your very being. It is the hum behind your thoughts, the silence beneath your emotions, the stillness in your breath. It has never been absent. You have only been distracted, mistaking noise for reality, mistaking separation for truth. But when you quiet enough to notice, when you soften enough to listen, you hear it everywhere. You hear it in the timing of a conversation, in the phrase that seems spoken just for you. You hear it in the way a chance encounter rearranges your direction. You hear it in the way your body responds before your mind has a plan. And when you recognize it, when you honor it, when you follow it, the guidance becomes stronger, clearer, impossible to ignore. This is not fantasy. It is the natural design of consciousness. Just as a compass needle aligns to magnetic north, your consciousness aligns to the field that your future self is broadcasting. And when you obey that alignment, when you honor with action, the field responds in kind. Understand this. Guidance is not passive. It is a dialogue, a conversation flowing across time. Your future self sends signals. You receive them in the present. But when you act on them, when you follow the thread, you alter what becomes possible. Your response changes the very landscape of potential. Your choice feeds back into the field, empowering your future self to rise higher, expand further, broadcast more refined frequencies. The loop deepens, the bridge strengthens, the connection sharpens. This dialogue becomes so fluid, so constant, that eventually you stop wondering if the signals are real. They become inseparable from your very being. You stop questioning whether to trust them and simply move as one with them. Action and guidance become indistinguishable. You live as though in duet with the cosmos, until duet dissolves into oneness. This is when synchronicity ceases to surprise you and instead becomes your language. The unexpected becomes expected. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. You stop marveling at coincidences because they are no longer rare. They are the rhythm of your days, the cadence of your unfolding. And in this rhythm, manifestation changes. It ceases to be an effort of force and becomes a natural consequence of flow. What you once strained to achieve emerges effortlessly. What you once chased arrives without pursuit. This is not because you have become lazy or careless, but because you have stopped resisting the intelligence that already knows the way. But to remain here requires courage. It requires a radical shift in how you perceive uncertainty. Most cling to control as though it were oxygen, terrified of the void between what is and what could be. They fill silence with noise, fill emptiness with distraction, fill doubt with premature answers. But the void is not absence. It is abundance unformed. The silence is not empty. It is pregnant. To walk the path of quantum awareness is to let the silence speak, to let the void reveal itself, to let the unformed take shape without rushing to force it. It is to stand in the place where your mind cries out for certainty and yet choose to breathe, to wait, to trust. This trust transforms you. You stop moving through life as someone who must constantly make things happen, who must wrestle reality into submission. Instead, you move as someone who collaborates with reality, who dances with it, who listens for its rhythm and steps in time. Imagine surfing a great wave. You cannot command the ocean. You cannot demand its shape. You can only feel into it, balance with it, ride with it, struggle against it, and you will be thrown. But align with it, and it will carry you farther than you could have swum alone. This is quantum trust, not control, but alignment. Not domination, but participation. In this alignment, you discover a deeper identity. You are not simply being trapped in linear time, trudging from past to future. You are not a creature at the mercy of circumstance. You are consciousness itself, expanded across dimensions, alive in multiple coordinates of time, weaving a tapestry that your present awareness can only glimpse. You are not merely human. You are multidimensional. And this life you live now is but one thread in a vast fabric of existence. As this recognition deepens, you begin to feel it. You begin to sense that you are not separate from the field that surrounds you. The boundary between self and world thins until it becomes transparent. What you feel within echoes without. What you notice without reverberates within. The world stops being something outside you and becomes a mirror of your own consciousness. This is why being around some people leaves you inspired, while others leave you drained. It is not simply personality. It is not merely preference. It is the field they broadcast. Their consciousness shapes the environment as tangibly as weather shapes the air. Their presence bends possibility. Their awareness alters the field. Their very being influences what unfolds. And so does yours. When you operate from quantum awareness, when you align with the signals of your future self, when you embody the recognition that you are co-creating reality in every moment, you become a catalyst. Your presence begins to shift the field of those around you. You become an invitation, not through words but through vibration. Others feel possibility awaken in your presence. Others sense doors opening in themselves simply because you are near. This is not charisma. This is not persuasion. This is resonance. You become a tuning fork for quantum alignment, vibrating at a frequency that others unconsciously harmonize with. In this way, your awakening ripples outward, altering not only your life but the lives of those who cross your path. And with this power comes responsibility. For once you see that your consciousness shapes reality, once you know that your field influences not only your world but the world of others, you can never again pretend you are powerless. You can never again blame chance or fate or circumstance. You are accountable for the frequency you broadcast. But this responsibility is not burden. It is empowerment. To realize that you are not a victim of reality, but a co-creator of it is to step into the greatest freedom possible. You hold the brush. You shape the canvas. You sing the note that reverberates through creation. Every thought is paint. Every emotion is sound. Every choice is brushstroke. What will you create? This is not a rhetorical question. The field is listening. Your future self is listening. The universe itself leans toward you, waiting for your signal. Every moment you breathe, you are transmitting into the field. Every pulse of thought, every flicker of feeling, every silent choice radiates outward as a quantum signature. These signatures do not vanish. They ripple, collide, resonate, creating patterns that extend far beyond what you see. They echo backward into the past and forward into the future, weaving your life into a vast geometry of possibility. And here's the mystery. Your future self has been broadcasting these signatures all along, reaching back into the now. What you call intuition is the present echo of that broadcast. What you call coincidence is the collision of those ripples shaping circumstance. What you call destiny is the inevitable alignment of signatures across time. But most people do not notice. They are lost in noise, consumed by chatter, hypnotized by the weight of their past. They recycle the same thoughts, relive the same emotions, replay the same choices. And in doing so, they broadcast the same frequency again and again. The field responds with fidelity, delivering the same experiences, the same struggles, the same outcomes. This is why so many feel trapped. It is not fate that binds them. It is repetition. But you are not here to repeat. You are here to remember. To remember is to tune your awareness to the difference between the frequencies, to sense when you are broadcasting the stale weight of your past and when you are aligning with the expansive signal of your future, to feel the shift between heaviness and lightness, between limitation and possibility, between contraction and expansion. Future wisdom feels different. It glows with impossibility, and yet rings true. It stretches the edges of who you think you are, yet stirs recognition deep within. It frightens the mind but ignites the heart. This is a signal worth following, the breadcrumb worth trusting, the resonance worth obeying. And when you follow it, when you choose to honor that impossible yet undeniable guidance, you step into a new rhythm. You begin to see the fabric of reality reshaping around you. Conversations unfold at perfect timing. Opportunities emerge from unseen corridors. People appear as though summoned by thought. Life bends itself to match the frequency you carry. This is not luck. This is not magic. This is coherence. Coherence is when your present choices harmonize with your future broadcast. Coherence is when the signal you send and the signal you receive are in alignment. In coherence, life accelerates. Possibilities collapse into inevitabilities. The improbable becomes natural. And yet, coherence requires courage. For the signal of the future often calls you into territory your current self resists. It asks you to release familiar patterns, comfortable illusions, safe limitations. It asks you to step where the ground has not yet appeared. It asks you to trust the invisible. This is a paradox of awakening. You must act before certainty arrives, trust before proof, leap before the net is visible. Only then does the net reveal itself, woven from the threads of your own willingness. But each time you do, each time you align action with future wisdom rather than past fear, you strengthen the bridge. The connection grows louder, clearer, more undeniable, until one day you realize you no longer question whether to trust. You simply move, and life moves with you. This is the moment when the dialogue with your future self becomes seamless. It is no longer a whisper you strain to hear, but a song you cannot escape. It is no longer occasional synchronicity, but continuous flow. It is no longer separate guidance, but your own expanded consciousness speaking in its native tongue. You begin to experience yourself not as a linear being trudging from past to future, but as a multidimensional consciousness unfolding across time. You recognize that you are both the one who is guided and the one who guides, both the seeker and the source. You are the echo and the origin at once. And in this recognition, life takes on a quality that words can barely capture. Every moment drips with significance. Every silence hums with presence. Every breath feels like participation in a cosmic choreography far too intricate for your mind to map, but perfectly clear to your heart. This is when reality itself feels alive, eager to collaborate, delighted to co-create. You no longer see yourself as moving through a lifeless backdrop of matter. You feel the world as conscious, responsive, aware. You touch the tree, and the tree touches you. You look at the stars, and the stars look back. You think, and the universe answers. And in this dance, the boundaries dissolve. You realize you have never been separate. The world is not happening to you. The world is happening with you, through you, as you. This awareness changes everything. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you taste it, you cannot forget. Once you feel it, you cannot go back. But this awareness comes with weight. For when you know that you are co-creating every moment, when you understand that your consciousness is not a bystander, but a force, you can no longer pretend to be powerless. You can no longer hide behind excuses, no longer collapse into victimhood. You are accountable for the reality you generate. Your thoughts matter. Your emotions matter. Your choices matter. Each is a signature rippling across the field, shaping not only your world, but the worlds of those around you. But do not mistake this responsibility for burden. It is empowerment. It is liberation. To realize that you are not at the mercy of chance, but the author of experience is to awaken into true freedom, To understand that you are not a character trapped in a story, but the storyteller itself, is to step into infinite possibility. This is a great work of awakening. To remember that you are not merely reacting to life, but participating in its creation. To live not as an unconscious emitter of recycled frequencies, but as a deliberate broadcast of alignment. To embody the wisdom of the future now. And in doing so, to collapse the distance between who you are and who you are becoming. And as you walk this path, something even greater stirs. You begin to see that this awakening is not personal alone. It is collective. This awakening is not yours alone. It is not a private revelation hidden away within the corridors of your mind. It is part of a vast tide rising through humanity, a collective stirring, a species remembering its own quantum nature. Every person who makes this shift, who begins to live as a co-creator rather than a victim, strengthens a field for all others. Every step you take into alignment sends ripples that make it easier for another to follow. Think of it like resonance. When one tuning fork vibrates, another nearby begins to hum in sympathy. When one consciousness awakens, those around it begin to feel the pull, the subtle invitation, the vibration that whispers, you too are more than you believed. In this way, your personal awakening is never personal. It is planetary. It is evolutionary. And so the choice before you is not just about your life. It is about the life of the collective. Each moment you choose alignment over fear, trust over control, openness over resistance, you add your voice to the choir of awakening echoing across the globe. You become a node in the network of evolution, a signal tower broadcasting possibility into the field of humanity itself. We are living in extraordinary times. The old structures, the rigid illusions, the brittle patterns of classical reality are collapsing. Certainty is crumbling. Systems once thought eternal are dissolving. To those trapped in fear, it feels like chaos. But to those who see with quantum eyes, it is emergence. It is the necessary dismantling of illusions so that something vaster, more coherent, more alive can rise. And you are not here to merely witness this shift. You are here to participate in it. You are here to embody it, to live it, to anchor into the fabric of reality through your own choices, your own presence, your own resonance. Feel into this for a moment, the significance of being alive at this time, the weight of participating in the most profound transformation human consciousness has ever known. You are not a spectator in this story. You are a pioneer, a threshold walker, a bridge between what was and what will be. And what will be is magnificent. It is not a future of endless struggle. It is not a repetition of the past. It is a future where humanity remembers its nature as consciousness, where life is lived not in separation, but in unity, not in resistance, but in collaboration, not in fear, but in coherence with the intelligence of the field. Your role in this emergence may not be to shout it from rooftops or write it into books. It may not be to lead movements or guide multitudes. Your role may simply be to embody it so fully that your presence itself becomes the invitation. To live as alignment so consistently that those who encounter you remember something in themselves. To be so coherent that the field itself bends more easily toward awakening. This is the true power of embodiment. Words can be argued with. Ideas can be resisted. But presence cannot be denied. A coherent field speaks louder than 1,000 declarations. And when you become that field, when you become that presence, you shift reality effortlessly. But embodiment is not abstract. It is practical. It requires daily willingness to choose differently, to notice when you slip into old patterns and return to alignment. It requires you to release the heavy loops of the past, to quiet the noise of conditioned thought, to honor the fresh immediacy of present awareness, and above all, to trust the expansive guidance of future wisdom. Every time you choose to align with that guidance, even in small ways, you are strengthening the bridge. Every time you notice synchronicity and respond, you are deepening the dialogue. Every time you act on resonance rather than resistance, you are declaring to the field, I am awake, I am listening, I am participating, and the field responds. The dialogue sharpens, the synchronicities cluster, the impossible becomes inevitable. But this path is not free from challenge. Resistance will surface, doubt will rise, the old self, bound by habit and fear, will pull at you, urging you back into familiar patterns, safe illusions, predictable loops. The ego fears dissolution. It clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is suffering. It resists surrender to the unknown. This is where your courage matters most. To recognize the resistance, not as an enemy, but as a signal. To see doubt not as proof of failure, but as proof of transition. Every resistance is a threshold between past and future. Every doubt is the invitation to trust more deeply. Every hesitation is the test of coherence. You do not overcome resistance by force. You dissolve it by recognition. You meet it with awareness. You let it be seen. And in that seeing, its grip weakens. For resistance is strong only in shadow. In the light of awareness, it dissolves into the very energy that fuels your next step. Each time you choose alignment over resistance, you are not only shaping your life, you are rewiring your nervous system. You are teaching your brain to notice and respond to quantum information instead of classical data. You are training your body to feel resonance as guidance. You are strengthening the muscle of trust until it becomes instinct. At first, this may feel like learning a new language, awkward, uncertain, full of missteps. But with practice, it becomes fluid, natural, inevitable. Until one day, you realize you are no longer practicing. You are living it. You are breathing it. Quantum consciousness has become your default. Synchronicity has become your navigation. Co-creation has become your natural way of being. And in that moment, you realize that what once felt miraculous is simply normal. That what once felt rare is simply life. That what once felt impossible is simply inevitable. The more you live this way, the more natural it becomes. The bridge between you and your future self strengthens until it no longer feels like a bridge at all. The dialogue becomes so immediate that it is indistinguishable from your own awareness. You no longer ask if guidance is real, you simply move with it. You no longer wonder if synchronicities are coincidence. You see them as a language of reality itself. This is when you stop experiencing yourself as a fragment in time. You stop feeling like a linear being marching from past to future. Instead, you awaken to your multidimensional nature. You are not one self in one moment. You are many selves across all coordinates of time, woven into a single consciousness. Past, present, and future are facets of one jewel, and you are the jewel itself, turning endlessly in the light. From this recognition, life changes at its core. You cease to see challenges as obstacles and begin to see them as signals. You cease to resist uncertainty and begin to embrace it as the fertile soil of becoming. You cease to fight reality and begin to dance with it, recognizing that every circumstance, every encounter, every twist of the path is part of choreography designed to awaken you. The unknown ceases to terrify. Instead, it becomes a space of possibility, the field of infinite potential. You do not collapse into passivity. You do not retreat from choice. You step into deeper receptivity, into deliberate openness, into conscious participation with what wishes to unfold. And the universe responds. You notice it in small things first. The way a song appears with a perfect lyric, the way a stranger speaks a sentence that answers your hidden question, the way an opportunity arrives exactly when needed. But soon you notice it everywhere. Reality itself seems to bend toward you, alive with responsiveness, eager to collaborate. This responsiveness is not random. It is coherence. It is the quantum field adjusting itself around the broadcast you are sending. You are no longer emitting noise. You are no longer scattering your energy in 1,000 conflicting directions. You are broadcasting a clear signal, aligned with your future self, aligned with the truth of who you are. And the field cannot help but respond. You may ask, does this mean I can control reality? The answer is no, not control. Collaboration, not domination. Alignment. Control is a language of fear, the illusion of separation. Alignment is a language of trust, the recognition of unity. The universe is not a machine to be manipulated. It is a living field to be harmonized with. And when you harmonize, creation becomes effortless. What you need arrives not because you forced it, but because it was drawn to you. What you desire emerges not because you demanded it, but because you became coherent with it. You are not bending the field to your will. You are bending yourself into resonance with the field's deeper intelligence. This resonance does not only affect you, it radiates outward, touching all who enter your presence. You begin to notice it in your relationships. People feel lighter around you, more open, more inspired. Conversations deepen, synchronicities multiply, and connections feel charged with meaning. Your very presence becomes a catalyst for others to awaken to their own resonance. This is not something you do intentionally. It is not something you impose. It is simply who you become. When you embody coherence, when you live from quantum awareness, you broadcast a field that others unconsciously attune to. They feel possibility awaken in themselves. They feel doors opening where walls once stood. They feel called to rise into their own alignment. In this way, you become what can only be called a reality catalyst, a being whose presence accelerates transformation, whose coherence ripples outward into the collective field. You become a living invitation for others to remember what they have always known. But becoming a reality catalyst requires more than intellectual understanding. It requires embodiment. It requires you to live the principles so fully that they cease to be concepts and become your way of being. This is not achieved in a single moment of insight. It is cultivated through practice, through trust, through the daily willingness to choose alignment over fear, openness over control, resonance over resistance. With each choice, your nervous system rewires. With each step, your brain adapts. With each act of trust, the old pathways of fear dissolve and new pathways of coherence strengthen. At first, it may feel unnatural, even uncomfortable, but over time, it becomes effortless. Until one day, you realize that alignment is no longer something you practice. It is who you are, and from this place, life itself becomes miraculous. Not because miracles are rare, but because you have finally attuned to their frequency. Not because synchronicity is unusual, but because you have stopped ignoring it. Not because reality has changed, but because you have remembered what reality has always been, a living, responsive field, co-created with your consciousness. But as this realization deepens, something even greater becomes clear. This shift is not only about you. It is not only about your life, your transformation, your awakening. It is about humanity itself. For every step you take into coherence, you strengthen the field for all. Every time you choose trust over fear, you make it easier for another to do the same. Every time you live from resonance, you amplify the collective awakening already underway. You are not separate. You have never been separate. You are part of collective emergence, a species remembering its quantum nature. And your awakening is both personal and planetary. You are living in the threshold of human history. For millennia, consciousness has wandered in forgetfulness, wrapped in the illusion of separation, hypnotized by the linear march of time. Humanity has dreamed itself as powerless, as victim, as prisoner chance. But now the dream thins, the veil dissolves, the collective begins to stir. And you are part of this stirring, not by accident, not by coincidence. You are here because your future self has guided you here, because the quantum field has orchestrated this exact moment as a node of awakening. You are here to remember what you have always known, that you are not separate from the reality you experience, that you are not merely observing, but creating, that you are not trapped in time, but woven through it. The shift begins within you, but it does not end there. Each time you choose coherence, you radiate outward. Each time you align with future wisdom, you strengthen the field of humanity. Each time you surrender control and trust resonance, you contribute to the emergence of a new kind of human being. This is how the collective awakens, not all at once, but ripple by ripple, resonance by resonance, one awakened presence igniting another. Feel into the significance of this. You are not just an individual seeking meaning in a meaningless world. You are meaning itself, awakening to its own reflection. You are the field remembering its own intelligence. You are the universe awakening to itself through human form. And as this remembrance deepens, everything in your life shifts. Relationships transform as you recognize the entanglement of consciousness that connects you with others. Work transforms as you see your role not as survival but as expression, not as obligation but as contribution to the unfolding whole. Health transforms as you understand that your body is not separate from your consciousness, but the living mirror of your state of alignment. Even money transforms, not as a symbol of lack or greed, but as energy, as flow, as another form of resonance. Every domain of your life becomes infused with coherence. Every aspect of existence becomes an expression of alignment. Life ceases to feel like a battle and begins to feel like a dance. You are no longer forcing outcomes, but allowing them. No longer chasing the future, but remembering it. No longer asking if you are worthy, but recognizing that worthiness was never in question. And still, the journey does not end. For there is no final destination in quantum awakening. There is no point at which you have mastered all, no summit at which you finally rest. There are only deeper layers, subtler recognitions, more elegant alignments. Every day is another invitation. Every moment, another opportunity. Every breath, another chance to remember. This is what it means to live as quantum consciousness. To know that you are always in dialogue with your future, always broadcasting, always receiving, always creating. To live not in resistance, but in resonance. Not in fear, but in trust. Not in separation, but in unity. The invitation before you is simple, though not always easy. To embody what you already are. To trust what you already feel. To live what you already know. To say yes, again and again, to the resonance that calls you forward. Do not wait for proof. Do not wait for certainty. Do not wait for permission. The field is listening now. Your future self is broadcasting now. The universe is waiting now. What will you broadcast? What will you embody? What frequency will you choose? For the truth is, you are already choosing. Every thought, every feeling, every breath sends its signal. The question is not whether you're broadcasting, but whether you are broadcasting consciously. The question is not whether you are creating, but whether you are creating deliberately. And so, as you stand at this threshold, remember, you are not powerless. You are not separate. You are not a victim of chance. You are quantum consciousness itself, awakening to its own reflection. Feel into that. Let it anchor in your bones. Let it hum in your chest. Let it ripple outward through your field, touching all who cross your path. For when you embody this truth, you not only transform your own life, you accelerate the awakening of the collective. This is why you are here. This is why these words found you. This is the moment your future self has been guiding you toward. The shift is already happening. The awakening is already underway. The question is only, will you say yes to it? Yes to coherence. Yes to resonance. Yes to the future that already exists, reaching back through time to call you forward. Say yes, because if you are seeing this, it is already happening.